this stage, now we want to have a look at the screen element, which we hadn't had a deeper look at in this course so far, and that's the loop element. So you can use this loop element to create, update, delete records or a bunch of records at one time. Now you can say, yes, we can do this also with a scheduled triggered flow. That's true. So I hope I found an example where this works, and it won't work, of course, with the scheduled triggered flow because we have some interactions in it. So once you have a look at here at the right top corner, I have a loop here which is called X loop or a flow. And what we want here, we want just to show all the opportunities which are still open and have a close date in the actual month. And at the next stage, we want our sales reps to create tasks to close it. So let's say here I want to have a call today with a subject, final negotiation. Here I have also this opportunity open, and what you also see here, we count all the number of all our open opportunities. And here, we want just to send an email here with a follow-up. And here we will have a meeting also tomorrow and say to sign the contract. Once I click on next, see, these were my 3 open opportunities with a close date in this month. And now I created for all of these 3 opportunities a task. So once we go to the opportunities, go here to our CPU demo, we have here this final negotiation today. Okay, and what you see here is we go with this loop through every opportunity which fulfills our criteria, and will also create the task to it. Now let's have a look how we can create this in a flow itself. And here I just use the screen flow element. And as I said at the beginning, we want to loop through all these records which are still open and have a close date this month. So first of all, we need to get these records to loop through it. And therefore, we say here, get ops, and we want to get the opportunity. And here we say the stage should not be equal to closed one, and should also not be equal to closed lost. And we said that our close date should also be in this month. And here, let's say, comes still a big weakness of the flows, I have to admit. Yeah, you can enter here a date, but you can't enter relative dates. So you can't, let's say, enter a range here. I want the close date to be in this month. So what I did to achieve this is I just created a formula checkbox on the opportunity itself, which checks if this close date is in this month and also this year, so that the close date equals my actual month. And I just called it here closing this month. And you see here, once this is true, it gets checked, otherwise it's unchecked. And once I go back to the flow, you can see I can just use now this formula field, which is called closing this month. And once this is set to true, we are fine. And what's important now, we want to have here all records that fulfill our criteria. So far so good. And now we can jump directly in our loop. And here we have the loop, which is called then show ops. And here we need a collection variable, and that's what we just created. Here the opportunities from the getOps. Here you can say how you want to sort it. So first item to last item. And once we go back here, first of all, we want to show the opportunity name, stage, close date, and here our record count. So therefore, we need here, first of all, a screen element, and we call this show op detail. And first of all, we need here this display text, and just name it detail. And what we want now to display is first of all the op name, and here we go to this current item from loop and we search for the name. Same here with the stage. Then we need the close date. And we want this record count. For this record count, we have to create a new variable. So we click here on new resource, variable, data type is in this case just a number. We do not need decimal places. We have a default value of 1. We make it available for input and output and call it here record count. And that's it so far. And what we do in the next step is here, after this screen, we want our record count to go up. So we just call this here +1. And we have our variable, which is called here record count. And we just add here the value of 1 to it. So let me save this and call it loop demo. And now we can run this and see what's happening so far. Once we click on run, you see here we have our loop demo flow. You'll see our name, stage, close date, and record count. Once we click on next, the loop is running and we have a new opportunity, and this is now the number 2, and here we have the number of 3. And once it's done, we go back to our first opportunity. So these are all these opportunities with fulfill our criteria. Now in the next step, once we go back to our home screen, we said that we want to create tasks to it, and therefore our sales rep should type in the type, the due date, and the subject. Therefore we need once again this new screen element, and here it is. and here we label it get task detail. And what we need now is, first of all, a pick list. This pick list do we need for the type, label type pick list, and we have to create here once again a new resource, and that's a pick list choice, and it's from the object task, and the data type is pick list, and the field is the type. And so we have the type, we need the due date and the subject. For the due date, it's quite easy, we just need the date here and call this due date. And then we need the subject. And therefore I will use a text field. This might be now a bit confusing because the subject, once you have a look at your object manager, is a type of pick list. So, but once you have a look at the documentation of Salesforce itself, you see here the task subtype is a pick list, but the subject is the type combo box. What does this mean? So once we go back here to our opportunity and want to create a task, you see here, yes, we have our pick list values, but we're also able to type in here text. So it's a combination of a text field and a pick list. And even if you want to create a pick list choice set like we did before, you won't find the subject pick list to select. So therefore, we will do this as a text field. Okay, now we're also done. And now what you would do, let's say out of nature, is you would here select an element and now create your task. But we can't, or let's say we can use the data elements in a loop, but it's highly recommended to do not so to avoid mistakes. So what we have to do is now we have to first create a new assignment, and we call this assign task. And here once again we have to first create a new variable. This is now a record variable also of the tasks. And we call this one task. What's important now is here we do not need this because we just assign now or create one task for this specific um, opportunity we just selected. So we go here to task, and we had here first of all the type, and this task type equals the type pick list we had on our screen. Same here for due date. and the same also for the subject. Here it is. So let's now also assign this task to the related opportunity, and therefore we go here now to current item from loop and search for the ID, and here we have the opportunity ID, and the same also for the owner. So the task owner should be also the owner of the opportunity. So we go here and search for the owner, and here we have the owner ID. So these three fields, we got the input from our screen flow, and that's what we do automatically in the background. And you can do this also, of course, for other fields. Let's say we have here the task priority, and we say it's always high because we want to close it this month. And click on done. Okay, so what we did so far is we had a look at our opportunity. Afterwards, we add +1 to our record count. Then we put in the details for our tasks. We assign the details to this relevant task. And what we have to do at the end of this loop, we have to collect what we assigned here in a collection to update it at the end. As I said, we can't use the data elements in here. So at the last step here, we have to do another assignment. And let's say here, just call it for task creation. And now here we need once again a new variable. It's also the data type record, and the object is once again the task. But here, let's call this record creation. And in this case, we have to allow multiple values. We have to create this collection so that with every time the loop is running, we store this information to this task and opportunity, and then create the tasks to the opportunity afterwards. And now we got this variable, and what we want to do now is we want to add all the tasks. We just have to remove the dot here. We want to add all these tasks to this task collections. So after every one, say, here we have now here this task collection. And click on save. So we added all the tasks into this collection, and afterwards we can now use our data element and create records. And say here just create task, and here we want to create multiple records, and in this case we have it here from this record creation variable collection, sorry. And now we're done. At this stage we can now save it and of course activate it. And now we can go back to our home page and edit the page here, and here remove this X flow or this X loop with our loop demo and save it. Once we go back, you see now the X loop is gone and the loop demo is appeared, and we have our CPQ demo and we have the evaluation phase. And now we can once again create here our task. So let's say we're meeting tomorrow. Let's again sign contract. Now we're at the, say the second loop. What's important now? Let's say we said we want to create a task for our first, the CPQ demo opportunity. But once again, you see here, we just at the moment stored it in this collection. We create the records only after we're done with this whole loop. So we have to go through the loop or through all loops, and only after that we will create our record. So at the moment, there is no task created to our CPQ demo. We have to first go through all this call here. Hello, doesn't matter. Here it's the same. And only if I click on next here, you see now the flow is going to work and now creates the task. And once we go back to our opportunities, CPQ demo, see, we have now here our new task created to it. And that's one example. I hope you understood it, how you can use this loop elements in flows. Thanks for your attention. See you in the next video.